Just a little bit closer. Yeah, if you want, just for the beginning.
You sure?
Yeah, just for the beginning. You don't have to wear them for the whole time. You know what I'm saying? And if you can just bring that a little bit closer.
Check. Mic check 1 2.
There we go.
Yo. All right.
Perfect amplitude. Like we were talking about quick fast, like before we start into our interview, it's funny because like I was saying, I was trying to get onto you for 2 to 3 years, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so what, you're not really on the socials like that, eh?
No, I am, right? Like I normally use like the internet and social media and stuff for education.
Yeah.
I use it for entertainment, right? So I'm more educating myself online than I am like doing like contact and stuff. I'm like I said before in the hallway, like I'm kind of an introvert. It's hard to believe because I did so much stuff, but I'm kind of an introvert.
On stages,
yeah, I'm kind of an introvert. So like I like my time, you know what I mean? So
no, I get it.
So I'm not good with emails. I'm not good with DMs.
Yeah,
I'm not good with that stuff.
No, but even like just to find out a little bit more, like what's your internet consumption time? Like, are you doing like YouTube wormholes on conspiracy videos? Like, what's your content of choice that you find yourself binging on the internet?
It's funny, right? Because like I find like a lot of conspiracy films are happening right now.
Yeah.
Online, a lot of TikToks on conspiracy. I was kind of into that stuff in the 90s.
Yeah.
I'm kind of over that stuff.
Mark of the Beast.
And all that stuff, all that scare tactics and stuff. Like, not that I don't believe in like what's being said or anything like that, but I kind of don't consume my mind with those things.
Yeah.
I'm always on education, and like my education goes from like I like history a lot, so I study a lot of history, a lot of especially biblical history. I'm really into the Bible a lot, right? I just love history, period, and I'll study like philosophies and everything, like anything that I feel like is broadened in my mind. I'll study, right? But like mostly history, biblical history, and religious history of any sorts. Like when it comes to like Muslim and Native American and Hindu, I'll study all that stuff.
How are you consuming? Are you listening to audiobooks? Are you watching YouTube videos? Or are you like literally reading still paperback, like physical books?
Yeah, I used to read books back in the days, but now I'm more into I watch what do you call it? You know, when guys go on stage and like an expert will go in front of, what is it called?
Yeah, like
you do it in school when you go in school,
like presentations.
Yeah, presentations, and
they'll do those not consultations, but
like I'd watch like an expert who's been delving it for years, and he has his studies and he does his research. And he'll be there for like 3 hours, like a 3-hour presentation. Yeah. And I was to sit at home and watch a 3-hour presentation on race, on why Rome fell, or you know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Why? Like I'm a vast knowledge of useless information.
I call myself that too, but for pop culture, I'll know the stupidest shit about like people on whatever edge, what non-hip hop edge of pop culture. You know what I'm saying?
Like for instance, I'll study, like I watched the study for like hours about why where high heel shoes come from, and and they come from people not like, because back in the days in Europe, they used to shit in the streets, so they invented high heel shoes so they wouldn't walk in shit.
Oh shit. I never booked that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So our vanity is based in stupidness.
Yeah. Wow, the things you could unhatch when you go down some internet wormholes.
It explains a lot of things. Like explains a lot of things of humanity. When you go look at history, you go look at like the things that are happening today. Like I know why things are happening today.
Yeah.
So like what about like I had a like you heard my the interview I did with Mad Russian.
Yeah, salute.
Right, and they're talking about my troubled childhood, and I talked to my mom and I explained to her why my childhood was troubled and why she went through what she went through. Yeah. And she thinks I'm crazy, but I totally understand it because I understand the history.
You did the knowledge
and what was going on at that time.
Yeah.
So people not dove in history and they think history is not important. You don't understand where you are if you don't know where you came from. Right?
That's bars right there.
It's not my bars, it's Bob Marley. But
no, but still, wise words. one more question before we get into the interview, okay? I'm sorry, because like I like to do pre-roll before we get into our real conversation. Yeah. How tapped in are you with the Toronto scene? Like I'm talking about, because we're speaking about the internet and social media and stuff, but like all these new crop of rappers that have come out since 2010 and stuff.
Well, I'm tapped in, but not tapped in.
Okay.
So like I've watched guys. I got my eye on guys. I see the guys. I like what guys are doing. I think there's a lot of talent. Like I'm kind of upset that we weren't, as OGs, we couldn't bring it further for you guys.
Talk about it.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not these guys who, whoa, back in the days, we're like, no, I look like, well, man, I wish we brought it further because there's a lot of talent in the city, especially now. Toronto always had talent. Yeah. And I see these guys doing what we do, but what I miss, what I think I'm upset about is that guys like me didn't get, you didn't get to watch guys like me to influence what you do. I know you got, some guys did, but the new crop now, they don't know too much about me, right? And I wish they watched guys like me and guys like Ghetto and guys like Infinite, right? But I watch it, but let me tell you something. I spent my whole life around music, and now at the older age, I try to sit in my house and not listen to music whatsoever, right? Because when I listen to music, as much as I love music and I appreciate guys, because I did music, I'm not a fan, so I critique music, and my mind works. So like if a guy's spitting crazy bars and he's spitting crazy bars and I love his crazy bars, but I will be, and I'll do it to the greatest rapper. I'll do it to Jay-Z. I'll do it to anybody. Yeah. And I'll be like, I should have said that there. You know what I mean?
Your rapper brain starts going off.
because I'm producing. I'm not listening, right? Like I'm producing. So I don't get to enjoy music the way I used to enjoy music. So like, that's why I don't really listen to music at home as much as I want. So don't get upset when I said I haven't heard people's stuff. I'll listen to your stuff once and go, that guy's tough. But if I keep on listening to it, then I'll start critique it. And I'm not a perfect rapper, but that's just the producer in me. So I don't listen to music that much at home.
I think all of us, as myself as a former artist too, once you've already know how to make the sauce, it's hard to watch somebody and not be like, you want to add a little bit more salt over there instead.
And I apologize. And that's just the way I would do it, right?
Yeah.
But like, and let me really correct that. I don't listen to too much like hip hop and stuff like that because that's my expertise. But I'll go listen to like, I'll go back and listen to like I'll go back and listen to the Spinners. I'll go back and listen to like SOS Band. So if I'm at home and I'm listening to music, I'm listening to that era of music. Right?
The stuff where people actually got the samples from most of the time.
Because back in the days when we were doing music, we used to go to the record store and buy all those records and sit around and listen to those music. Right? So I'm just in the custom of listening to that. I have a high appreciation for the genius of that generation.
I forgot what the DJs call it when they spin those before they actually play the song that it's got sampled from it. But we'll get into it. I want to play some music. That's why I have you with the headphones right now.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Because we are an audio podcast. Jeez. Oh. Let's start this shit off, man. It's your boy Friday Ricky Dread here with another interview for your head top. Before we get into it, I want to give a quick salute to my sponsors. Big salute to Diamond Club. That's the sign that you see right behind me. If you need any of the loudest loud, hit them up. Also, they got edibles, pinchers, anything that you need. Hit them up on their Instagram page, DiamondClub_Canada. And you could also find them on the 7 Days of Weed website. Use the code WeLoveHipHop. Get yourself a little discount. Also, if you want some of that blem, make sure to hit up Steamin' Hot Grabba. We got a couple of shakers on the table here. They got delivery across the GTA, and you could also find them in some of the stores in the West End along the Drain Strip. Hit them up on their Instagram page, Steamin' Hot Grabba, and you could use the code We Love Hip Hop. Last but not least, hit up Only Loud. Okay, Only Loud has delivery across Canada as well as delivery within the GTA and within Ottawa in the same day. They got a bunch of different blends as well as their own legacy blend. Hit them up on their Instagram page, Only Loud Canada, and you could also find them on Snapchat, onlyloud.ca. I'm going to do another ad later on in the
go ahead, man.
In the thing, but actually we'll do it now.
Do your thing.
Also, big salute to Pink Kush Factory. I can't even speak today. Pink Kush Factory got some super dope drinks. Okay, for the people who don't drink alcohol like myself, and you still want to be grooving over that at the jam. They got all these different types of flavors of THC tinctures and drinks. Okay, hit them up on their Instagram page, Pink XS or Pink Kush with an X instead. Factory. Okay, I'm gonna put everything in the description, and we'll see if we can get a discount code for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Big salute to Pink Kush Factory. Now, I'm really excited to get this conversation going on here. Like I was saying in the beginning when the music was playing, I was listening to this gentleman when I was in Montreal in the 90s, and not just this gentleman, the crew.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it was not just one man, it was a whole crew. And he was representing an area that it was foreign to me at the time until I got over here to Toronto. And then I started seeing the reels of every different area of Toronto, especially Scarborough, the East End.
Yeah.
Right? I got the end sweater on today. You know what I'm saying?
Big up to Bishop.
Yeah, big salute to Bishop. So with no further ado, I want to welcome rapper, producer, graffiti artist, dancer, Spade from Citizen Kane in the building.
Who's back? The man who's got you sweating cause my words threaten. Willie Destin, illest nigga in the session. Guess who's back? Spade dot the Imperial.
Barber.
Oh, and Barber. Hold on. Bro, you got so many different talents, bro. I just wanted to make sure to break down the four elements of hip hop, because you're a hip hop to the core with all that. So, okay, let's get into some of the conversation here that I have. The questions, okay? Because I've been making sure to do my research for this, and I'm really excited to have this conversation, bro. I see on your Instagram, because you do post a little bit.
Yeah.
Is that your son who made it to Division II basketball?
Division I.
Division I, Division I?
Yeah, Pepperdine in Malibu, yeah.
Congrats, bro.
No, thanks.
Yeah, how did that feel, man?
Well, it's great. It's a great accomplishment. Right?
Yeah.
I come from a family of athletes. So my sister was a two-sport athlete scholarship. My two brothers were Ontario champion boxers.
Okay.
I was a officer champion sprinter. Right.
Really?
So he's probably the greatest athlete in our family though, because he went to the school down here called John McCrae. My whole family went to John McCrae.
Okay.
And I sent him to John McCrae. And we all have like records in John McCrae. But when my son went there, he put up more banners in John McCrae than anybody that's ever went there before. So he's like a real athlete. He has to work his butt off. He's fighting for playing time because he's a freshman and stuff. He has a lot to learn when he's down there, but he's there.
Yeah. Wow, man. So that's we might see him in the next few years at the NBA draft. Actually, no, I'm not even going to say might. We will see him in the next few years at the NBA draft. You can see you suited and booted, ready for that.
There's a lot of. If he's willing to put in the work, I'm sure he has the ability to do it.
Nah, man, that's really dope. And let's go back as far as with your history, right? Born in 1970.
Yeah.
Right. You grew up in Scarborough.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can go around a few different areas. The 400 areas where you made your home finally.
Yeah. Well,
right. Can we talk about a few places first, though?
I was born in Orton Park.
Okay.
Right. and then I moved when I was 5 years old. I moved from Orton Park to 400.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like 75. I grew there. So I was 5 years. I was like 4 or 5 years old.
And for the people, because we have people outside of Toronto that watch us, can you explain for the Scarborough? Scarborough's in the East End, but the 400 area, what's that like?
Okay, let me explain. I'll explain the history of it. So it's Southside Scarborough. So Eglinton and Kingston were the strip, right? So in my area, that was the strip. All the clubs, everything, biker gangs, everything hung up my area, right? 400 is probably one of the first, not the only one first, but one of the first projects built in Scarborough, right? Because that after they built like Jane and Finch and everything like that, they put all the hoods together. They experimented in Scarborough and they said, let's space out the hoods, and maybe the nice neighborhoods around could influence the hood, but it actually ended up going the other way. Yeah. Right? So that's why my crew is kind of like really mixed, because you'd get those Yugoslavians and guys hanging out with us in the hood, right?
Yeah.
So I grew up in that part in Scarborough. And at that time, right, you're talking about the 70s. So the Vietnam War just ended, right? So I'm a child, Vietnam War just ended. So there's a lot of Vietnam vets that lived in there, were bringing their families there and living
Interesting.
there. Yeah. And as a kid, I would see guys I was like, when I talk about a lot of violence, I'd actually see guys have like flashbacks,
like PTSD.
Yeah, and go on the roof with their guns. And
What?
like SWAT teams would have to come out and pull them down. My neighbor next to me, right? He when I was a baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I was 5, he himself and his whole family because he had PS. He shot up right in the house right next to me.
Wow.
So it was like,
and this is like all residuals from the Vietnam
War and all that stuff.
That's crazy.
So that stuff happened in Canada too.
Yeah. To be honest, like we're not that far apart in age.
Yeah.
But I never even booked that.
Yeah. And at the same time, right? Like then you got to like Trudeau open the borders for a lot of the West Indian immigrants.
Yeah, Trudeau's dad.
Right? Yeah, Trudeau's dad. Pierre, right? So like you got a lot of Jamaicans coming up. I'm Guyanese, right? I'm Guyanese. My family's coming up. All these people are coming up from West Indies.
Yeah.
Then and this is all the hood. So you have the West Indians there. You have the Vietnam vets trying to get their lives together there.
Mm-hmm.
You have Native Americans who are
already
displaced. They're there. Like but the neighbor that moved next to me is a vet from a 400. His name's Rusty Blades, and he's half Native and half Black, right? So you had natives living there, and then you had like the poor whites living there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that. This is before Scarborough was really expanding.
Yeah.
So they were all in one area. Everybody was all in one area.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a whole different picture than like what you see now.
Yeah.
And you're the youngest of 5?
I'm the youngest of 5.
Okay. So you got your brothers. You mentioned like everybody was into sports and stuff.
Yeah, my brothers were boxers, so no one really messed with me, except for my brother.
Except for your brothers, right? And then they probably gave you some boxing skills too.
Yeah, I have a little bit, but I'm not a fighter. I like to say this, like I'm not a tough guy. I hang with a lot of tough guys.
Yeah.
And I know what a tough guy looks like. And the smartest thing I ever understood is that I'm not the tough guy. I'm the smart guy.
hey, a wise man knows when he knows nothing at all type of thing. Yeah. And you have your sister also, who eventually she started getting into like directing and stuff like that.
My sister got a scholarship at Windsor for 2 sports, for volleyball and basketball.
Wow.
And she back in 400, she used to play guys for money back then. They called her, you ever heard of Cheryl Miller?
Yes.
They called her the Canadian Cheryl Miller.
Really?
Yeah, she won a Player of the Year twice in Canadian college. Right? So like my sister was a good, so she went to school, and in school she dropped out of school when she was doing her bachelor's or whatever to pursue a life in film.
Right. And we're gonna go full circle into how that film even helped with you guys later on. But one thing that's interested me, right? Because somebody who's coming up in the 70s, by the time, let's say 85, you're about 15 years old.
Yeah.
Right?
Even younger, probably. You could go with what you're gonna ask me, but go ahead.
Crack hitting the scene.
Yeah,
what changed? Big salute to the sponsors, Diamond Club, with delivery all over the GTA and now all across Canada. They got the best selection of flour, edibles, and pens, and all types of goodies that you need. You can find them on their Instagram page, DiamondClub_Canada, or you can find them on the 7 Days of Weed app, as well as the Leafy Things app. Let them know that you heard about them through the We Love Hip Hop Network, and they may give you a discount. Big salute to Diamond Club. Cheer!
That's right. Yeah, I remember that. I remember, like, there's nothing today that you could compare that to.
Yeah. Like
I watched people go homeless overnight.
Yeah.
I watched people go homeless overnight. I watch people, like I used to wake up and go to school at that time. And I'd be walking by the house, and it'd be like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to school, and doors would be wide open with mothers passed out on the couch, and their babies playing in puddles.
Crazy.
And you'd have to pick up the baby and go, yo. You'd be yelling at women, going, yo, take care of your babies. Like crack. When crack hit, it was nothing like it.
And to be honest, and gotta put this into context too. These are people who a few years before that they might have, messed around with some reefer, different things.
Well, before crack got big, right? A lot of people used to huff. You know what huffing is?
No.
It's when you put like glue.
Oh, yeah. I know that.
In a bag, or you get gas in a rag, right? People used to do that. that used to be, we used to go, oh, you're a huffer.
Yeah,
right? That
yeah.
used to be the equivalent of a crackhead. But that's like hardly nothing, right?
Yeah.
But then people, cocaine was like a recreational drug. People did cocaine like people smoked weed back then.
Yeah.
So cocaine and all that stuff used to happen, right? But when crack hit, but people say, oh, they didn't know how strong it was.
Yeah.
Because it's just a derivative of cocaine.
They just transformed it. Yeah.
Yeah. So no one knew how strong it was. And you get one hit, if you're an addictive personality, you get one hit, you're gone, right?
Yeah.
So these people who are used to doing cocaine and stuff, they get a hit of that. And they're party people. They hit that and their life's done.
Yeah. And these people are also doctors, lawyers, or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Who are first time trying crack.
Yeah.
So like, we're seeing, because now people are seeing crackheads, people are like, oh, I never want to end up like that. But back in those times, you didn't see that.
Well, you did with huffers.
Yeah.
But huffers were like, it was crazy. It was like you're inhaling gas.
Yeah.
Right
yeah,
now,
yeah.
it seemed crazy.
Mhm.
Crack wasn't crazy. Crack was just like, because guys smoked weed in pipes and stuff, like it wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
Now I'm smoking crack in a pipe, right? It wasn't considered crazy. People tried it. But at the same time, like I'm talking, you're talking, okay, that's around 15, 16. By the time I'm 17, 18, 19, like we are making guys, it's not only that you see people go poor overnight, you're watching hustlers going rich overnight.
Yes. Turn into millionaires and shit.
Overnight. Yeah.
And listen, man, I know,
but the crack. Before you go on, the crack epidemic, it kind of slowly came in, right? So it wasn't like everybody went crazy overnight. It was kind of slowly coming in, and then by the time it hit the 90s, it was.
That's when you started seeing crack heads.
Yeah, it started going.
Yeah. And I know. Listen, we're in 2024, so we're way past the stat.
Yeah.
But when you were young, and I know myself, I got involved in the game probably like 17, 18 them times because it was. Back those times, it was
easy
like
money.
93, 92.
Yeah, easy money.
And it was still relatively new on the scene.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's easy money.
I didn't even know what I was selling first time, but like I was getting money.
Yeah, it's easy money.
Yeah. So like, was it just everybody was just selling Krills around probably your crew?
And weed was like you can't go in the store and buy weed back then, right? So you made a lot of money off of weed.
Yeah,
If you didn't want to get into the crack game, you made a lot of money off the weed. Cocaine was still really big, right? And right after crack got big, and then right after crack got big, ecstasy got big.
Yes,
and then the guys started making money off of ecstasy.
Yeah.
So you'd have your assortment of crack, coke, and ecstasy and weed, right?
The variety pack.
We're talking criminal activities, right?
But let's go back a little bit in the 80s, right? Because in 84 you did something that really started your musical journey. Let's say started it, but it didn't make you a rapper yet.
No.
You took a trip to NYC.
Yes. Well, what happened was my neighborhood, right? My neighborhood, like I said, my neighborhood was popping the way it was popping. And there's two break crews up from my neighborhood, breaking crews.
Okay.
And one breaking crew was called Zodiac Breakers.
Okay.
And the other crew was called Wild Crew. And they were like the two biggest breaking crews in Toronto. And they were from my neighborhood. So I'd go out every day and hang out with them. And then I would learn how to b-boy. Like I'm talking like from when I was a little kid, like I'm talking really young, right? Like 11, 12, I'm learning. I always could kind of disco dance, right?
Yeah.
I was really good at imitating Michael Jackson and stuff like that when I was a kid, right? So then I got into the break-in, and then they used to always battle guys from the NY and stuff all of that time. But there was a guy who came up from NY when I was like 14 years old, and he hung out, and I saw him break, and he was amazing. His name was Roxy, right? And he goes, yeah, I want to, he just, in the conversation, yeah, when you're in New York, give me a call, right?
Yeah.
And then me and my boys were like, hey, we're going to go to New York. We're going to give Roxy a call. we're 14 years old. We can't.
Yeah.
Right? So we just pick up one day and we just said, okay, let's go. We just go to the airport. We hop on a plane, go to New York, come off. We go to Flatbush, and we like 1:00 in the morning.
Brooklyn.
And we're phoning Roxy at a payphone. Go, yo, we're here. He's like, what the?
From the payphone is crazy too. Okay, so then what happened then?
So he like the funny story that I told was that like, he sent some guys out we didn't know to rob us as a joke. And these are big dudes, man, really big thug guys, right?
Yeah.
And they robbed us, and we were like, I was scared out of my pants. I was shitting my pants. But I was with my boy Wayne, and he was a real hard ass, and he was like, we was ready to fight. So we had to like, okay, let's fight. We're gonna fight. Because back in the days when we used to battle breaking. Yeah. This was before back in the days we used to battle breaking. Like I used to go to the other neighborhoods and battle. I would go all around Toronto and battle crews. This was before I went to New York. And if it didn't go right, you have to scrap. You have to scrap. Yeah. Right? So a lot of times you had those big belt buckles because we're pulling it off. Those are weapons, right? That's why we had those big belt buckles and stuff back in the days, because they would turn into weapons, right? So we were ready to scrap, and he just came out and he said it was a joke, right? And then I stayed there for a bit, and Wayne and I had another friend that was there. They stayed for a week and they left. And I stayed.
For like a month?
Yeah, I stayed for like the whole summer. And then he took me all the way around. I'll get into depth with this. He took me to Studio 54. He took me to Funhouse back in the days. He took me to a place, and this is like you talk about 80s. He took me to a place, and there's this girl singing, right? And there's this guy named I think his name is Jelly Bean. I think his name is. And he's a DJ. He DJ'd at the Funhouse. Okay. And he was like, yo. This girl was singing on stage, and everybody was performing. He go, yo, this girl's gonna be big. This girl's gonna be big, right? And it was, and I think she was already kind of big, and it was Madonna, but I didn't know it was Madonna.
Holy shit!
Right, so like I'm around this kind of shit.
Yeah, yeah.
You understand what I mean? Like at 14, and I'm going to Studio 54, and there's a wrestling ring.
Hold on, can I stop you for a quick second? Yeah. And I don't mean to interrupt you, but you're going to Studio 54 and all these clubs. Yeah. You're 14 years old, my G. How the are you getting in these places?
It kind of wasn't like that back then, though, right?
It's true.
They don't. Oh, ID. They weren't like. It was kind of like that. And I was with Roxy. Roxy was. I didn't know at the time, but Roxy was a popular. He was a popular breaker.
They just let a teenager in the club.
He was just taking me in all the time. Yeah,
that's crazy.
But I was going to clubs at 14 in Toronto too, though.
Yeah, listen, I understand too because I was doing it too, but. Y'all little niggas don't understand how things were different back then. Yeah, it's different. Bro. So you're in the spot, Madonna's performing.
Yeah, I'm watching all kind of things like that.
Thank you, brother. Salute the beat.
We got a delivery here. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it, man. But like things were like that's how things were, right?
Yeah.
Things were like so I was in New York, and it was that time in New York. Like New York in the 80s in New York was that time in New York. Yeah. So I was around graffiti artists, I was around breakers. He was taking me everywhere. He was like, he was a popular breaker, right? So I was going to practice. He went to practice with the New York Ballet. So I went and hung out with the New York Ballet and practiced. So I was getting really cultivated that time. Yeah. So when I came back, I was like, yo, I knew I was basically the shit because I was so cultivated about hip hop. Yeah, you went to the Mecca. Yeah, and I went there and I lived it for like a whole summer. So by the time I came back when I was 15, it was just like I was kind of like the man in my neighborhood. And that helped. Did that inspire you to open up the barbershop? And low key, I didn't know that you own Cut Creators, bro. I started Cut Kreator.
So, I had no idea, bro.
Yeah, because I used to go to Conrad's, right? And Conrad's dad was an old man, and he didn't know anything about fades. He didn't know anything about flat tops. And Gumbies. That's what we used to do back then, right?
Go a little bit closer to right there.
Yeah, we used to get flat tops and Gumbies back then, right? So he didn't know too much about that stuff. So when I went to New York, and I seen guys had all these haircuts. So I went to a barbershop down there, and I seen how it was. And they were like playing dominoes there, and they were like, it was just more of a hangout. Yeah. Right? It wasn't like the barbershops it was in Toronto. It was just like you would sit there nervous and wait for your turn, right? So when I came back, I said, okay, I'm gonna get a pair of clippers, and I just started. I wanted their haircuts, so I started doing myself and the guy who raps with me, RP.
You learned to cut
hair on my head and his head. Yeah, just cut hair. And I used to do. Then I was an artist, so I used to start doing designs because they had designs. So I started doing designs and stuff. And then my brother's friend, David Whittemire, he came to me, he goes, I'm going to cut my hair. And I cut his hair. He goes, okay, want to open a barbershop together? I said, yeah. So I was like 17. By the time I was 17, we opened up a cut Kreator at Mark Bennington. And I had like...
that's a big barbershop, by the way, like in history. People know that shop.
Yeah, that changed the game.
Yes.
Because it was the first barbershop, like you guys go to barbershops now and it's just the way, but it was the first, I had a girl named Faith who used to do people's hair in her home.
Okay.
And she's from my hood too. So I opened up my barbershop and I had a female barber salon on one side, and I had my barbershop on the other side. And everybody I hired was my age. So I had all young guys cutting hair, and they all learned how to cut gumbies and all that stuff. Yeah. And then because I went to New York so much, I had because we didn't have internet back then, so I'd bring up all the music videos and rap videos up and all those movies and stuff.
From
and
the box and
so
shit.
I'd have a TV in the front, and we'd be playing all the movies, and then I'd bring mix tapes from the radio stations down there, and I'd be playing them, and guys would hang out. So I had my barbershop was packed probably from 7 o'clock in the morning till like 12 o'clock at night.
Sick.
Especially on Carabana weekend, it was insane.
Yeah.
And I would get covered by every news reporter across the country. And I had people coming from Hamilton to get their haircut.
Yeah.
I had people coming from like all over Ontario to cut my haircut because I was the only shop like that.
Yeah, Cut Creators was very popular.
Yeah, I was the only shop like that in Canada.
Yeah.
So and then after that, I had a guy named Omar I hired, and guys who I hired, they started opening up their own shop.
Sick.
So
yeah, and you've had like celebrities coming in there getting their haircuts and stuff.
Yeah, celebrities, news anchors, and that's how I met Michie. So I used to cut Michie's hair, and I had the salon at the side, so she could go to the salon at the side,
get her hair done, and get the design in the back from that.
But Michie used to do a lot of extensions that we never really did, right? But Faith was really good at coloring, so if Michie wanted color, she'd color Michie, and then I'd cut her at the back and put designs in the back. Yeah.
Listen, Spade. I want to make sure to give you your flowers, okay, bro? Yeah. Because you're so freaking hip hop, bro. Okay? No, like, because people be talking about hip hop and they don't understand the 4 elements, and I don't know if you could add a 5th element now with the internet and all that, but let's not, okay? But like the 4 elements and the culture that you've been able to just understand brought you to so many different journeys, bro. Because think about from cutting Michie's hair and also being a breakdancer, brought you on tour with Michie.
Yeah.
I want to take a quick break from this episode to give a big shout out to Only Loud, Canada's one-stop shop for your favorite legacy brands and all things loud. Only Loud provides mail order delivery nationwide and same-day delivery to those in the Ottawa area. Check them out at onlyloud.ca or follow them on their socials, Instagram at onlyloudcanada or on Snapchat onlyloud.ca for more exclusive content. Only Loud is not just a product, it's a lifestyle. Big salute to the sponsors. Cheer.
And you went on tour with Dream Warriors too, no?
Yeah, and I went on tour with everybody. So like
as a dancer.
Yeah. So after I started doing stuff with Michie, and then I started doing stuff. Sometimes I'd go do stuff with Dream Warriors, and because Beat Factory had a whole plethora of artists. Yeah. So he would lend me out to all the artists, right? And they had R&B artists, so I'd go travel all around, dance with different artists. And then I got that. Then people started noticing me, and then I started doing. People started putting me in other music videos, like pop music videos, and I started doing Kim Mitchell videos, and I started doing Alanis stuff with Alanis Morrisette. And then the director started hiring because I was the only guy. Like when they wanted hip hop in their video or the commercials, like I was doing Pepsi commercials and everything like that, right? And when they wanted hip hop in their stuff, they would hire a fake guy who was, I can kind of do it, right? And he'd be like an old 40-year-old guy going, yeah, trying to do it, right? But then when they found that I was there and I was from the hood,
a real hip hop
guy, then I was the only one. So I was the guy for hire for everybody. So that's what I was saying. Before I even I picked up the mic, I was really, really popular because I was choreographing videos. So you think about I'm choreographing videos. So like video shoots, I'm sitting down there picking the girls to be in video shoots and stuff like that. So I was like I
gotta go through you.
Yeah, like I had like a lot of clout when it came to the scene. So I was choreographing videos. And I was doing TV commercials and
And this is all before picking up a mic. Think about that.
It's all before picking up a mic.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I want to shift the conversation, but still keep it in the same place, because while you're doing all that, and I'm going to tell you a story about myself. I used to be, I won't say the plug, but I've been the plug for multiple artists when they come into the city.
Yes.
Right? I'll do a quick one, and I've told this on the camera again, but I'm going to do it again. Young Buck sold that nigga a whole half pound of weed, bro. Okay, he was here for 3 days.
Yeah.
Each day I sold him three, and then 2 to finish off the eight ounces, right? And charged him all the way up the top, okay? Like no discounts. And guru a multitude of artists. You're out here, you're moving and shaking, you're choreographing for people.
Yeah.
Can I get some plug stories, please?
Well, like I was doing movies. Like I met Jamie Foxx. You remember that movie, the Booty Call?
Yes.
So I was in the movie Booty Call, but I ended up on being cut on the floor. I had a scene with me and him. Had a scene where I was dancing. He bumped into me in a club, and we have a rap battle. We have a break. We have a dance battle.
Okay.
Right, and he ends up hurting his back, but I ended up on the cutting floor. I didn't end up in the
damn.
Right. So I hung out with him for a while. Right, but so I was an artist. Right, so while I'm dancing, people found that I could paint. So now I got hired by one of the biggest mob guys who ran all the nightclubs, and I was hired by him. So now, not only that I'm choreographing, I'm dancing and everything, I'm working for all the nightclubs. So I not only do I get in for free, I have like a 20 guest limit. I have a $500
VIP access.
I got a $500 drink tab at the bar at almost every club in the city. Right. So I'm like that, right? And I was painting the murals in the club. So you go to clubs and they see big murals on the wall, and I was painting murals in the clubs. That was you? Yeah, I was painting all the murals and stuff. And then because I was a dancer, the go-go dancers would bring me up, and I'd dance with the go-go dancers. And I was doing all kind of stuff in the club. So I was kind of creating an atmosphere in the club. And plus I used to, because I went to Studio 54, I kind of knew that I knew the atmosphere of what a club was like. So I was kind of bringing that to the club scene. Yeah. Right? So they see me doing, Much Music see me doing this, right? And this lady named Marlis Voss, who I used to do it with, she's the one who brought me in. And she's like a genius when it comes to club atmosphere. You see the club atmosphere you see happening? Yeah. It's basically Marlis Voss invented.
She curated that.
Yeah, along with me and some other people, right? So she brought people in with that vibe, and we curated the whole area, that whole vibe, right? So she ended up getting hired by Much Music. And then now not only doing clubs, I'm doing Electric Circus.
Electric Circus.
So I'm doing all the set designs for Electric Circus. So when you see Electric Circus, I'm doing the set design for Electric Circus. I'm doing the set design for Much Music. I'm doing the set design for Much Music Awards.
That's crazy. Yeah.
This is all before
picking up the mic, bro. This is why I had to get you in here and have this conversation, bro, because. And big salute, I'll give another salute to Mad Russian, because he's one of the first, you don't really talk a lot. You don't do a lot of interviews.
Yeah, I'm an introvert, right? So,
yes. Yeah. So when those stories were coming out, I was like, I need to get you in here to flush out those stories in completion. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all were a little bit tipsy that day. It was a little wild in there, right? But maybe
they were. I don't do anything of excess anymore.
Yeah, you seem like you're pretty level-headed. All the time.
But just to get back to plugs, right? So I'm from the hood, and I'm doing all this, and I'm the only one really from the hood ever in this space, right? So now they know I'm from the hood, and I'm going after I'm going to clubs, I'm going to after parties. Yeah. So I'm going to after parties, and after parties are like.
Yes, we know what goes down in that.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that. I'm married. I don't want to disrespect my wife or anything like that. But that was crazy times. Yeah. Right. So it got to the point that they knew they knew, okay, I'm from the hood. I need this.
Hey, dude.
I need that. I need this. So I'd go, yo, guys, I'm going to after party. Come with me. Yeah, bring some stuff. Yeah. And they'd be making money, and they'd be like, yo, I'm bringing them to this world that they have no, like everybody, it's not Diddy parties, but everybody talk about Diddy parties and this parties, and this is the 90s, and rap doesn't know about this yet. Yeah. Especially in Toronto, they don't know about this. Yeah. Right? Toronto doesn't really know about this. And I'm bringing my niggas from the hood and say, look at this. right?
Man, they were probably like, whoa.
And they're seeing celebrities toasted.
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So I end up being that at Much Music. I was the unword, like you couldn't really talk about it, but I was the plug, right?
Yeah.
For all that stuff. So I end up like everybody would phone me and I'd come there and I'd hang out with Jade. I would hang out with like everybody. Like
it's wild times, bro.
Yeah.
So then
like
okay.
I had hotbox sessions with like Capadonna and like and I was hanging out with Rocksteady Crew. I said Souls of Mischief. Prince. I never really hung around Prince, but I was around him. Green Day. I was around Green Day. I was like rock bands. Maceo Park. Like that's James Brown's. Maceo, the guy who plays the sax. I was around people you would never think.
That's crazy, bro. And just to think about the fact that like you're probably like 17 at this point. No. 18?
I'm older now. I'm probably in my 20s.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're probably like around 17 or something like that. I'm in my 20s.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
this all leads up into my 20s, right?
Now, you're living the life of the rappers. And you guys decide...
Well, it wasn't really the life of the rappers.
Yeah.
At that time.
Yeah, that's true.
It was the life of the rock star.
Yeah.
So I was living a rock star life.
Yeah.
Not really a rapper life. The rappers were still in the hood, in the street. I'm you know what I mean? Like
still native tongues and that type shit.
Yeah, they were still like that. And I was living a rock star. I was living more of a rock star life. Yeah.
So then what made you decide to rap? Big salute to Steamin' Hot Grabba with a variety of different Grabba flavors and dispensers. They got red rose Grabba, that red herring Grabba, and peanut butter. Hit them up on their Instagram page, Steamin' Hot Grabba, and use the code WeLoveHipHop and receive a discount on your order. Again, you can find them on Instagram, Steamin' Hot Grabba. Now let's get back to the show. Cheer.
Because we used to just rap for fun, right? All the time. And I saw guys rapping. I watched. I was with Michie, right? I saw Michie. I was just learning. Like a lot of times I was like, if you guys could kind of tell when I'm talking, I kind of stutter. You speak as young. I was kind of a stutterer, so I never thought of myself to be a rapper, right?
Okay.
So and I was watching Michie. And I was learning the game from her, and we used to kind of rap. And then I saw guys started coming out, and I thought I was kind of better than them. I thought I could do better than these guys. They're not as they're talk like what they were talking about. I'm like, well, I got more to say.
Yeah.
I always felt like I have more to say, and I still to this day I always feel like that. Even though like it's just probably my pride, but I always feel like there's more to say. Like even when you're talking about the intro song that you played, Monopoly Money.
Mad cheddar, harvesting the 12th bladder like we. I know the pussy's free, but living free ain't cheap. And real heads don't sleep or else we get slept on. Never had a place to slip, but yo, it just kept on.
Yeah.
Right? You have to think about it. If you watch that video, like I'm making it rain before making it rain.
Yes.
And I'm doing all that Lil Wayne and Cash Money stuff before they're doing it.
Way before.
Way before they're doing it, right? But the song is talking about how the evilness of money.
Yeah.
If you listen to the lyrics, I'm talking about money's evil, right? So I'm showing like I'm in the midst of hell. I'm depicting myself in the midst of hell.
Yeah.
Throwing money in the air, women all around me. I'm in a Brinks truck. I have Brinks trucks full of money. Like, you know what I mean? So like I've always in my spirit, I've always been like a very conscious person, even in the hood. And that's why I'm artistic, because I've always felt like there's more to life than just the earthly possessions, right?
Yeah.
So when I heard guys rapping, I'm like, yo, I got more to say than that. I could get deeper than this guy. I could get deeper than that guy, and I have to learn how to do it, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I started rapping. I go, yo, and I with my boys, I'm like, yo, we can all do this. Let's do this, because back then you really didn't really seek to be a solo artist. Like KRS-One, he's really BDP, right?
Yeah.
So like, you know what I mean? That wasn't a solo artist, wasn't a real.
Yeah, there was still D-Nice. There still got Scotland Rock, R.I.P.
Yeah. But they all come together and
Miss Melody.
Yeah, right. So that's what we kind of did. But like RP he RP's not artistic. So he wasn't a writer or anything like that. None of my friends were really writers at that time, right? The guys I hung out with, they were just gangsters, right? And I was kind of like the Ice Cube. I said, no, don't worry, I'll write for you, and we'll do that. So we sit down and I'd write, what do you want to say? And we write it out. I'd write it out. So I was the artistic guy. So I would always write out guys' rhymes and I could, don't worry. And they kind of pushed me to the forefront. So I became like the spokesperson for all my crew, right? So
no, that's sick, man. And because for the point in time, like, I know you was Spade from Citizen Kane, right?
Yeah.
But for a second, like, people would see Citizen Kane and then people would see you so much that they would call you Citizen Kane.
Yeah, you could do that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Right? But like, I represent everybody.
Yes.
Right? So,
yeah.
Like, if RP was here, we'd be more Citizen Kane.
Exactly.
But even if it's just RP or it's just me, it's still Citizen Kane.
Yeah. And let me ask you just more of a, I don't know, maybe a deeper question as far as with you and the righteousness and the rhymes and all that. Is it also based on like you growing your locks? Like, when did you start growing your locks?
I grew my locks, I can't remember, probably my 20s, but around that time, around that time, right after I'm dancing, I started growing my locks.
Yeah. And right. I know when it comes to...
And it's funny, here's a funny story, because I grew my locks, right? And this is a crazy story. And I used to get stalked by girls. Girls used to stalk me. No, it's crazy.
Locks?
No, well, because what I was doing so much stuff. I was kind of the man, right?
Yeah.
So I used to get stalked by women, right? So I got stalked by one girl, right? And she destroyed my clothes, in my house. Like, she broke in my house and destroyed my clothes.
Damn.
And I reacted badly to that, right? And I swung on her. I'm not proud of it, but I swung on her. And I'm young, dumb, right? And I get arrested and I get through in a cell. I'm in a cell and I'm sitting around and there's like all these gangsters and bad man and everything around me. And I had this guy who was the king of the biker gang of my neighborhood. His name's Norm. He died of a flesh-eating disease.
Damn.
Yeah. But he was one of the biggest bike gang, and he's a black dude.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s. He ran a whole white bike gang, and he was a black guy who ran a whole white bike gang, right? Back in 400, right? And he was there, so I was cool, right? And so I was chilling with him, and all the bad men, all the Jamaicans, everybody back there. The Rastafarians were there before, but I had my nose pierced, I had my eyebrow pierced, I had like my ears pierced, everything like that, and I had dreads.
Yeah.
And I used to wear these 40 below Timberlands, and not much guys were wearing Timberlands back in Toronto, but I was wearing 40
especially the 40 belows.
Yeah, so because I was going to New York, so I was dressed like a New Yorker, so I had 40 belows, and they used to all look at me, goes, you look like a punk rocker. Right? You got all these piercings. You got like you look like you're a punk rocker.
Yeah.
And I go like this to them. I go, a couple years y'all be doing it too.
And
I had grills and everything like that. Like,
and lo and behold, everybody started doing that.
And this is before Wayne and these guys. That was doing this stuff. Yeah.
So, okay, you start doing the music. You guys start dropping songs. Like, how did the whole the landslide of everything start happening where you guys are like popping up on Much Music? Is it based on all your connections that you already had?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. I was already in the industry.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so we just had to make the music. That's why I told them I know how to do this.
Yeah.
I got the connects. I got that. I like Michelle Geister. Back when I was working Much Music, I started hanging out with Michelle Geister. Michelle Geister is the producer and the inventor of Rhapsody. Right? So I was because I was with Michie Mee, and like I was going to tour with Michie Mee, so I went down to Jamaica with Michie Mee, and I hung out with the Fat Boys and Run DMC and Yellow Man and all, like everybody you could possibly think of, right?
Yeah.
And I also hang out with Michelle Geister and all that stuff. So we all became good friends and stuff like that. So when I came back, I'm like, yo, I know how to do this.
Yeah,
I got this. So we started doing this. And I used to hang out with Michie's studio, watch how she did it. So when I came back, we don't need anybody. I know how to do this. So we started getting records. We started going to studios. I used to go to studios, and they never had too much MPCs and stuff like that. Like,
sampling equipment.
We didn't have that. Yeah. Like, so you take your record to the studio, and I take it to the studio, and I go, I want to sample this. And it'd be like me and like 5 other guys from the hood, and we're in the studio, and like this studio, they just finished recording like Glass Tiger or something like that.
Yeah, big instruments and stuff.
Some crazy big Canadian rock band. I'm going to studios that have like jacuzzis. These are big rock studios. There's no home studios.
Yeah.
So you're spending a lot of money on these studios.
Yeah.
And I would go there and I go, sample this and put it together. And he'd be like, what? He have no idea what I'm talking about. I go, just do it. And we do it. He goes, oh my God, this is crazy.
Nice beat.
And then we start rapping on it, right? And we started making music, before I was Citizen Kane, our first name for my group was Last of an Ancient Breed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Long name.
Yeah, it was Last of an Ancient Breed, right? Right? So that was our first name, and then we changed it to Citizen Kane because it was more catchy, right? And I'm into movies. So Citizen Kane was the greatest movie ever made.
Yeah,
considered the greatest movie ever made. So I said, and I like what it's about. So I said, we're gonna name ourselves. I'm gonna name myself after movies, and every song title we do is gonna be named after a movie.
Oh, I never booked that, bro.
So Soldier Story, all that stuff is named after movies.
Oh shit.
Black Rain is a movie. Yeah.
Yo, what it be like? Is that the new Liggy? What it brief like? You mind to take a swing just to clear myself and feel right? My mind.
The Gambler.
Bro.
So I would get movie titles and write.
Bro, you know the emoji that they have with the head blowing up? That's me right now, fam. I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't really want to make it public. It was just an idea concept for me to help me do movie. And I read up that you can't copyright movie titles. So I said, oh, this is great. So
wow. So
I started doing that. And then and I was pretty good producer, but then the twins Down to Earth, they came around and they said, yo, I got some ideas. And then when they came, I said, okay, now it's time to do the epic.
Yeah.
And they did like Black Rain, and they introduced me to K-Cup from Main Source, who dated their cousin, right? And she was an ex-girlfriend of mine too. And I started hanging out with him, and then my whole sound blossomed with him because he knew how to work he had the machines and stuff. And that's when it felt.
And for the people who just need a quick little history lesson, K-Cut, 1/3 of Main Source, Large Professor came out of Main Source.
But K-Cut is even bigger than that. K-Cut is like he's the guy who taught Pete Rock. He's the guy who taught all those producers, Q-Tip, all those guys. He's the one who taught all of those guys. So he's actually the source of a lot of hip hop, right? So when you see a lot of like New York hip hop and like Brooklyn hip hop, right? We sound similar because I was messing with K-Cut at the same time, and it's K-Cut sound, right? Yeah. So that sound is even though it's a Brooklyn sound, and it is totally a Brooklyn sound. I'm not trying to take it away from Brooklyn, but K-Cut has a big influence on that sound. Yeah. And that's the sound I was on, and that's the sound the twins are on, and that's why I sound the way I sound. It's not because I wanted to be like them, but just that's the sound that we were creating at the time. And I was a deep thinker, so my rhymes were deep like that too, right? Yeah. And bro, the thing is that's so dope with you guys. You guys have a whole documentary as well, bro.
Risk a 2 to 5 just for the thrill. Watch actions cause they turn to habits, and habits got my destiny. So remind with a verbal recipe.
When niggas shout on the block, that's us. That's us representing right there.
Right? And full circle. Your sister who got into filmmaking and stuff like that, she made that documentary.
Well, when she got into film, she opened up a company called Rage.
Okay.
Right? My mom is an artistic lady, right? So I come from an artistic family, right? As well as a sport athletic family, right? So she opened up a company called Rage.
Right.
And Rage was shooting everybody's music videos. So they shot Cardinal's video, they shot Chaos's video, they shot everybody's video. And she actually is the one who gave Director X's start through Rage.
Wow.
Right. So Rage, my sister has this company now. She's starting the whole video process of a Black-owned video company. So now my sister has an idea. She goes, listen, I want to get into more than just doing videos. I want to get into film.
Right.
So she had an idea of making a movie. Right. So the original idea for Raising Kane was to be a movie, and I was supposed to be acting, and Melissa Ford was supposed to be my girlfriend in it, and we were supposed to act and act out a story. And then we brainstorming about it. She goes, no, I'm just gonna follow you guys around and what you're doing and record what you're doing because that's more interesting. Because she wanted to depict it. She goes, no, let me just record it. And then she started recording it, and she got a grant from the National Film Board of Canada, and she recorded it. And the next thing is history.
Yeah, you guys put it out through TVO and stuff too, right?
Yeah, National Film Board does that, right? It's funny too because when she done the film, she brought it to National Film Board. They were supposed to do my poster, and they're so out of touch. Like you have to remember, this stuff. Hip hop is not like it is now. The whole industry was out of touch. Like television, everything's out of touch.
Yeah.
Right? They believe this is a fad. They don't believe it's gonna last.
Yeah.
So they're so out of touch. So like they brought me a poster and it looked like some Cool Runnings poster, and I said no. Then I hired my man Mark Studdard, right? So I hired him to come do the poster. So now he started doing posters.
Right.
He did my poster, and then they said, "How do you want to release it?" And I said, "Well, let's rent out a movie theater." So I rented out a movie theater on Bloor, and I opened that. I had to open a night, and I showed that, and that sold out 2 nights.
Nice.
And then she started. Then she started going to all the film festivals all around the world, and then we won like 10 film festivals around the world.
Nice.
Because this was the only. No one did this before.
Like,
we're doing groundbreaking stuff here, right? So and then that's when you start seeing it being released on television and everything, because we've already kind of did a lot of stuff. My sister did great work on that stuff. And
y'all made hip-hop history with that too, having that, man.
Yeah, it's groundbreaking work. I'm not saying there wasn't any documentary before that, because you had Style Wars, and that was about graffiti, but you never had like things about rap.
And like Canadian hip-hop, man.
But even hip-hop in general, because New York won an award in New York, because they never seen anything like that. LA won an award in LA, won an award in Japan.
Yeah.
Like I'm huge in Japan for some reason. Like being math.
Because they love the history of hip hop, and we got to understand, like, no matter how much hip hop is born in the United States, it's born in New York City. Okay, we're never gonna disrespect that, right?
Yeah.
But the history that you're showing us right now is showing us how in tune and how eye to eye Canada, specifically Toronto,
we're still a little behind, but we're close.
But slightly behind, not mad behind, bro.
We were, at my time, I would say New York was popping. LA was a close second. We were probably a close third or fourth. Atlanta wasn't really on the scene like that yet. They were coming. Yeah. But we were really close.
Yeah. So with everything that you guys had going on, right? Because like I said, I used to watch and I used to listen to you guys shit because it was like grimy but conscious hip hop. So you guys, I don't know, I've never met you before, so I'm going to tell you for the first time, you guys were one of my favorite rap groups from back in the days. This is why I'm so happy to do this, bro, because I used to listen to y'all shit.
I'm really bad with compliments, so.
No, soft, don't worry. I'm the same, right? Why did you guys stop, bro?
So my it's kind of personal. I hung out with real gangsters. Like I was like it was real. Like as real as all these guys were in New York.
Yeah.
As real as I was.
Yeah.
Right. So things got caught up with like my partner, and he went away for a bit, and I was doing it by myself. But the label was kind of giving me runarounds. They were trying to shelf me, really, because they were like, they always said, like, what they literally said to me was, we don't want to depict that in Canada.
Oh.
They want to depict, they don't want to threaten violence. They don't want to depict that, because we don't want, that's not the Canadian thing to do. They wanted more of a boy next door kind of image. And they wanted me to do it because I was good looking, and I was good looking. Maybe not no more, but I was good looking when I was young, right? But they wanted me to do it, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. They were like, well, we don't. That's not the Canadian vibe we want to put out. So they gave me the runaround, because everybody's saying, well, you should sign them, and they're like, well, no, right? So they gave me the runaround, And I was getting a runaround, and I didn't like the fact that I was like racial. It was like there was like a racial stereotype. They didn't want me to do what
say
they didn't want
how
me
it is, bro.
Yeah,
they
well,
want you to freaking clean up your goddamn image.
Yeah,
we don't do the crime shit in Canada.
Yeah, Canada's not like that. That's what they want.
Yeah.
They don't want that people. They want people to think that Canada's not like that.
Yeah.
Right. So
there's no hoods in Canada.
Yeah. So even when I put it out, they put a block. They put a block on me. They blocked my stuff so it wouldn't sell across Canada. They literally tried to stop me, and I still became one of the top selling independent acts at the time. Right. So I regardless of them trying to like you have to understand, like, you have guys who come out and the labels do everything for them to blow up. When I'm coming out, the label's doing everything to stop me.
Yeah. Canadian labels.
Yeah, they're doing everything to stop me.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm being sold as an import in my own province, right? And they won't shelf me. Right? And I'm still out selling people.
Yeah.
Right?
And just for the people, quick, fast, because you had to have your stuff physically on a shelf.
Yeah.
So when you mean shelving, you're not putting me on the shelf away. Like, put me on the shelf so I can sell.
Yeah, people had to go look for you.
Yeah.
Right? So you had to be in their face. So I had street teams. I was on TV all the time. I was doing a lot of stuff. But they just they didn't believe in me. They didn't want my commentary of Toronto.
Yeah. It's weird because now it's still the same for Canada, but it's always been the opposite in the States. Some of the most grimiest guys get the craziest push from labels.
Yeah, and it's crazy because at the time when I came out, like, I was a weed smoking, beer drinking, like I was like that, right?
Yes.
But listen, I was like that, and that's the image I was portraying. I'm like, this, we in the hood, and the hood is.
You were being yourself,
but
bro.
I wasn't glamorizing the hood too. I was saying, like, the hood is hard, man.
Yeah.
The hood is bad, right? So if you listen to my stuff, that's what I'm saying. I don't lie, right?
Yeah.
And I don't try to glamorize crime, because a life of crime is not the life to live, right?
Yeah.
So but I was smoking weed, and I'd go to do shows, and all my friends would be there, and my friends were gangster, and they'd be strapped up, and we'd be all that. But we'd be cool. We'd be
camouflage
hanging out.
down.
Yeah, we'd be cool. We'd be like, yo, we'd be so happy to see the other rappers. Yo, look, this Choclair, this. But now I'm older, right? And I see these guys now, and now they're the ones smoking weed, and now they're the ones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? After I'm like, yo, I settled down. I settled down on that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, now that's you. I go out, I went out the other day, and I seen like guys smoking weed and talking and I'm like, yo, you're doing that now? Like,
yeah.
Back in the days when I was doing that, you were petrified of me.
Yeah.
Like
different.
I went. Oh God, Cardi's gonna kill me. I went to a boat ride. I was on a boat ride, right? And Lennox Lewis on the boat ride with us, right? And I had my whole crew there. And I would just we were so grimy that artists would come up, other rappers would come up to me and say, yeah, is everything okay? Like, you know what I mean? Or like, you know, like, I don't want you guys to be upset. Like, they were scared that we pop off.
Yeah.
Because I popped off on Cardinal at a Caravana concert, because I didn't like, because I was doing a show and he was late. And when he came, the promoter wanted to bump me off the stage because they wanted Cardi, because Cardi has to go, blah blah blah. And I got mad, but I obliged.
Yeah.
And I said okay, and I obliged. And then Cardi went up on the mic, and he said something like Spade, don't go on like that, and I got pissed. So I trashed the stage.
Oh shit!
So I was known to
you had a rep.
Jeff is crazy.
Yeah.
And I remember one time I went to a Gangstar record release party in Toronto. He invited me to the party, right? And that there was part of the night where they're gonna get everybody to rap. And Guru comes up to me and goes, listen, you gotta come rap, because I met Guru before, right? So I go up to stage to rap, because I'm not really a freestyle guy. I'm not really that's not my thing, right?
Yeah.
But I'm saying I'll spit a verse, right? And so Guru's rapping, he goes and Cardi, someone's rapping. I forget who's rapping. And Guru turns to me and goes, okay, after he's done, I'm gonna give you the mic. I'm gonna grab the mic, give it to you, and you go next. Right? So the guy's done, and he grabs the mic and he goes to give it to me, and Cardi grabs the mic out of Guru's hand and gives it the Choclair. and I'm and no, I'm a hothead, right?
Yeah.
I'm like Pac, right? So he's holding the mic like this, and I'm speaking into the mic, and I'm telling Chocolate, I'm gonna fucking rip your fucking head off. Like,
that's crazy.
Right? In the mic, and the whole crowd is hearing this, and I'm fucking saying it, and Guru's looking at me like, what the fuck's going on, right? And then I just leave stage. I catch myself, and I just leave stage. And then Chocolate starts rapping. And I don't know if he's talking to me, and I don't think he was talking to me. But I'm high, I'm drunk, and I'm in the back with my shorty. It was just me and I just go there with me and my shorty, right? And I hear him rapping, "You can't touch me, you can't talk to me," and he's just doing a freestyle rap. But I'm like, in my head, it's going.
He's talking about me.
that motherfucker talking about me. So I split the whole crowd, and this is giving essence of how why people were scared. Jeff, is everything okay? I split the whole crowd, and I walked up on stage. And I push Choclair into Premier's DJ booth, and the whole DJ booth goes flying over.
Oh, goddamn.
And I'm standing there ready to fight the whole circle. I'm like, let's go. I'm like, I was nuts. I was a loose cannon.
Nobody had this on film.
But this is at the point though.
Yeah.
This is at the point, like Roddy's now gone away. The labels are with me.
Yeah, you're probably frustrated.
I'm
like
really
crazy.
frustrated.
Yeah.
Guy. So I apologize to these guys for the way I was, but I was they were fucking with me, and I was really fighting for us. I was really fighting for the Black community. Yeah. And I felt like I felt like they were what they were doing was working against what I was trying to get accomplished. But they were just doing their thing. A lot of it was me, but I was a gangster. I was from the hood. Yeah. So like you know what I mean? You say let's pop. I'm not a battle rapper. If you say if you battle rap, you say I'm gonna pull out the tool and do this. I'm gonna freaking punch you in the face. Like
you're gonna do that? I'm gonna punch you before you pull out the tool.
I'm not thinking of a rhyme. Like I'm thinking of how am I gonna take you down? Like that's how I was back then, right? Like you know what I mean? So like that's how I got to that point, and I said, you know what, man? I just finished having my daughter. I was about to have my sons, and I said, you know what, man? I'm just gonna get away from it for a bit.
Yeah.
I got to become a better person. And I just raised my sons, and
yeah. That's crazy, man. That's and super interesting, man. Bro, you have such an interesting story, bro. Just to get this from you, it just gives me so much more depth to when I listen to the music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's real. My music, like I might not be this is just how I speak, right? But I might not be the dopest rapper or double entendre, blah blah blah. I'm not really into that, anyways, right? I'm not punchline guy. You know what I mean? What I'm gonna spit is I'm gonna spit you the authentic truth about who I am and what I think. When you get me, you're gonna get real me. Like even now, you're sitting there talking to me. You get real me. Right? Like that's I can't help but be me. Like
no, I'm
comfortable in my skin, and I'm gonna always be me unapologetically. Right?
No, that's appreciated, man. The audience and myself appreciate that. We love candid people, man. And just to broaden the conversation before we end our combo here, right? You know, I know I asked you in the beginning about like being tapped into rappers and stuff. You know, Toronto hip hop has come so far. Are you happy where the scene come to?
I'm happy. Like I said to you before, like I'm kind of upset that I as an OG I couldn't do more for you guys, right? Like I wish I could have built more of a foundation for you. I tried. I felt like they were I feel like they were holding me back. And if you watch my documentary, you'll see that they kind of held me back. Yeah. Right. I'm not just a conspiracy theorist. I'm not no like tinfoil.
No, they held you back,
right?
bro.
Right. So. But I love how Toronto, like I like the fact that we have our own sound. I like the fact that we have our own slang. I like the fact that guys what they're doing. I like what they're doing. I just wish that we built more of an industry for you because it could just be a little bit more professionalized. Yeah. And we never ever got to that point. Like Drake did his thing, and I hear a lot of people clowning Drake, but Drake did his thing. And I remember a time when no one supported Drake. Yes. And he was walking through the streets and asking OGs to support him, and none of them would support him. They clowned him. Yep. And he did his thing. So I don't care what anybody says about Drake. He overcame a lot of obstacles to do what he's doing. So when he said start from the bottom, that he might not have been the poorest kid, but no one was trying to see him. No one was trying to check him.
Not at all.
And he did his thing. So I give him the utmost respect.
Yeah.
And anybody doing it in Toronto, the only thing I would say is, and it's not really a Toronto thing, but it is a Toronto thing, is I'm an artist, and a lot of you, I know you're writing rhymes and you're telling your stories and you're talking about what you got to talk about, but writing is an art. And study your craft and expand your reality of what you're saying. Like, don't just say it from an anger point of view. Try to come from an understanding point of view. Your rhymes will be a lot better. Trust me, it'll be a lot deeper, right? One thing I could do, I might not be the greatest spitter, but I could write like a motherfucker, right? And yeah, just I want these guys they're so talented. I would just wish they'd spend more time in their craft than they spend in the streets. Just spend on your craft, because it changed my life. Rapping changed my life, right? So
yeah. And last question I have for you, right? I haven't actually asked this in a while, but I usually ask this to OGs. Okay, you know, we're here now. We're in our, you know, you're in your early 50s. I'm in my late 40s, right?
Yeah.
If you can go back and talk to an 18-year-old Spade, what would you tell him?
Get out of your own way.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. That's jewels right there, bro.
Yeah, just get out of your own way. And you might not understand the beauty of that, right? Is like you have things, there's hangups and things that you're worried about and things that you're partaking in that is contradiction to your goals, right? You got to get them out of your way. So you got to get out of your own way.
You got to get out of your own way.
You got to get out of your own way and let yourself succeed.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we're not succeeding because we're not letting ourselves succeed.
Yeah. I'm going to make that the title of this episode. Get out of your own way.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We got Spade in the building. Citizen Kane. Let me write that title in there.
You mind if I plug something?
Yes, please.
Because I'm actually what's the reason why I'm you'll see me do me stuff now is because like I'm trying to I'm coming back into the game.
Yes.
Not as a rap, not to do new music really. I'm not here to do new music.
Okay.
Right. My music is my bloodline, right? What I did, I believe in.
That's the foundation.
Right? So I'm not trying to really build on that, right? I'm not here to compete with the young guys because I don't think I can compete with young guys. I think the young guys are amazing, right? But I'm going to start doing shows more. I'm going to be more accessible to the community more because I'm an introvert. I've been just staying away, but I'm going to start making myself more accessible.
Yeah,
and I'm going to start like doing shows. So I got a show next year at in Barrie. Probably my first show. I'm coming back, and that's at CW Coops. So I'm going to do that on January 17th in Barrie. If you're out there in Barrie, go check it out. And I'm looking to do more shows and be around the community a little bit more and give them my knowledge because I think we've only kind of got one side of the story when it comes to Canadian hip hop. And it's not that it's a fake story; it's the true story, but it's one side, right?
It's just one side.
Yeah, so you're only getting the story of Maestro and Michie, who I love, and who Maestro and Michie are the queen and king of Canadian hip hop. Yeah, right. But you're only getting their side, and you're getting the Cardi side, and you're getting the Choclair side, and Socrates, and that's all one side. But they're not the side I came from is the side that was different than that side.
Yeah.
I even though Michie's from the hood and stuff, I portrayed it. Like I was speaking hood tales and hood stories. Yeah. And I think a lot of guys need to hear this side of the story. Yeah. And realize that you're not alone, you're not the first, and you won't be the last. Right? Believe in yourself as much as you got to humble yourself and do your thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, I felt this was important to have this conversation, especially because of what you just said right there. Because what you were saying earlier about the whole Junos, not the Junos, but like the Canadian hip hop industry. Yeah. They've always had this thing with us. Okay. And I say us, guys who are representing the hood culture. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They push us in the background. I fight for all of these artists that I interview for over the years that are like a lot of these grimy Toronto rappers. Yeah. And then when the Junos come up, I'm like, they got more streams than how many people that are in that building. Why are they not even invited?
Well, I'll say this to you to ease the pain of this is it's not a hip hop thing. It's a Canadian thing.
It's a Canadian culture government thing.
Yeah. So I'm in the world of basketball. They do that in basketball.
Yeah.
They do it. They hold back the black culture in Canada so much. And they only want to push one type of black.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because that's why I wanted to interrupt you, because they don't push all black culture.
No.
They push hood black culture.
Yeah, because they want to. They don't want the scary. They don't want the scary nigga.
Yeah.
The scary nigga is what they don't want. They want the friendly nigga.
Yeah.
Right?
And that forced quote unquote scary niggas, or guys who come from the hood sometimes in their music to do the most poppy-ish or the most lightest type of music that they have.
Yeah.
So we've had to even compromise over the years to get on Flow and all these different places.
Yeah.
And you're one of the guys who didn't compromise.
Yeah,
and that's why I rate you.
And
bro.
I was at the table. I had $1 million deal on the table.
Yeah.
And he told me all I had to do was compromise. And I said no, and I walked away from the table.
Yeah.
So
rated.
Gatekeeping is real.
Yeah.
And don't think it's fake. It's real, right? But you're in a great time, right? Like, honest to God, like, I'll tell you the straight up truth and what I believe. The Junos is bullshit.
I agree.
Right? Like, award shows, period, are bullshit. The American award shows, it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
If you see a guy getting a lot of awards, you got to question his integrity, right? And think about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who did he talk to?
But think about that, because there's American artists that are getting all kind of awards that we love, and you got to question their integrity because the award show is not like the system is not built for that. It's not built for us, right? We are anti-establishment just by existence.
Yeah,
right. So award shows, don't worry about any of that. Don't worry about your fucking likes. Don't worry about your fucking rotations, your plays. Make your fucking music. Put it on fucking line. The crowd, the people who love you will listen to you and love them back and cater to them, and don't worry about fucking else, because really you're in it to make money, and you do everything possible because economics is biblical. You have to make money, right? God wants you to make money, and that's biblical. Like, I'm not even talking lies to you. It's biblical. God wants you to make money. He wants you to be successful.
Yeah.
But you don't have to bend to their will to do it. You could do it on your own merits. You could do it your own way. It might take a little bit longer. It might be a little bit harder, but do it your own way. Saying that I go by and I live by is that you don't have to sell out to sell yourself. Right? So all you have to do is make yourself into a commodity. You have to learn how to market yourself and who you are. Marketing yourself doesn't mean you got to change. Market yourself is understand who you are, make an identity. That's why I changed my group is called Citizen Kane. I found an identity.
Yeah.
I found a niche. I found something that could catch on that was totally me, that was totally different.
Yeah.
And everybody could do that. Like, you got to really, it takes great self-evaluation and understanding. But you could do it, man, and you don't need these record labels. You don't need any of these motherfuckers. You could do it all yourself, man. Everything online. You don't need Spotify. You don't need nothing. All these people are just ripping you, man. You don't need them. You could do it yourself, man.
Yeah, I'm writing this down. I changed the title. You don't have to sell out to sell yourself. That's a bigger bar right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Spade came through and opened up the jewelry store for the people. Them. Yo, big salute and thank you for coming through. Like you said, you got the shows coming up. Any music in a way?
No. Just I'm just gonna be performing. Like, if you like the stuff I'm saying here, like I talk about this stuff. Like, I'm a deep thinker, and I'm always about expanding my mind. I love listening to people give me knowledge, and I love spreading knowledge that I know.
Yeah, I
spent like like probably 25 years studying biblical history and stuff like that. So, and philosophies and stuff. So it's my love. And come to the show, come to Barrie, check me out. You can hear my songs, hear me speak about certain topics and things. And at CW Coops, January 17th, come check that out, man. It'll be fly, man. We're still working on our lineup. There might be some surprises there, you know what I mean? Some giveaways. Shout out to Third Degree. Shout out to all my peeps at 400. Shout out to 400 every day.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of you just in the scene, period, bro.
Also, I want to plug out that I'm also a part of a faction called Root Rhyme Collective.
Okay.
And we do documenting of Canadian rap history, right? So we have a upcoming event at the ROM where we did a huge picture of all the rappers of Toronto.
Okay.
Right? We did the top 50 most influential rappers before the year 2000. Right? You said my son plays ball.
Yeah.
Right? I have another son in animation.
Wow.
Yeah. So he did a picture of all the rappers from 2000 down, and like. So with Roots Rhyme Collective, we're doing a lot of stuff with that too. So I'm all about trying to give knowledge to the younger kids because they're so talented. But you go to New York, all those guys know the OGs. You go to LA, they all know all the OGs. Atlanta, they know all the OGs. Toronto, we're kind of detached from our OGs. I'm trying to bridge that gap back. So if any guys want to hit me up and get any advice or just parlay, just give me a call, man. Just hit me up on Instagram or whatever. And you know what I mean?
And we'll make it, and you know, listen, man, people need to tap in with this gentleman because he's like we just discussed here, a wealth of stories and a wealth of knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
No problem, man.
Before we get out of here, I want to give a quick salute to the sponsors. Big salute to Diamond Club. Hit them up on their Instagram, DiamondClub_Canada. Big salute to Steamin' Hot Grabber. Hit them up on their Instagram page, Steamin' Hot Grabber. And big salute to Only Loud. Hit them up on their Instagram page, Only Loud. And last but not least, big salute to Pink Kush Factory. Hit them up on their Instagram page, Pink Kush Factory. Kush with an X. I'm going to take us out here with Soldier Stories because that's my shit.
We love hip hop.